of Vermont, we defy all the world. And cheer, cheer, the Green Mountaineer. And cheer, cheer.
I need my soul to scream out. Tell me how do we get so brave? Tell me how do we get.
Well, I just wanted to say good morning. I wanted to check in. This is going to be one of those talking head videos because one, I can't find certain things to make it properly. And two, this is just some thoughts that I've had this morning that it's helping me make sense of what's going on. So I thought maybe it'll help you make sense of what's going on. So with that, we're going to take a big old deep breath and I'm going to see you on the other side. So I'm still in the trailer. I'm still wearing my flannel. It's not completely warm yet, but by the afternoon things aren't so bad. And I, like you, I'm looking at everything that's going on and I'm trying to make sense of it, not from the myopic, this is just a health or wealth issue. I think that's too small. I talked about in a previous video that this is war. And, that's not an analogy most people are comfortable with. But I thought there's another way to explain it that might be a better way. And that really is what normally happens in spring. And spring is the opening season for baseball. And I had this thought a while ago that what this process, what we're going through right now in 2020, is just the opening salvo. It's the first shot across the bow of the bigger issue, which really is the Earth catastrophe. So I really have, what I hear is that this is just preparing us and getting those who will be part of that Earth catastrophe process in the future. This is the training wheels. This is where things are getting hardcore and they're starting to sort things out. But, that's not something a lot of people are comfortable with or even know much about. You can go to Suspicious Observers if you really want to learn more about Earth catastrophe, or I have a few videos if you just put in Jill Elizabeth Earth catastrophe. And so, but that's a big idea that we can't really sink our teeth or our hands into. And what's happening now feels very real, and it is, but in a lot of ways I think that most people are missing. So I thought, how would be a good way to explain it and make sense for me and where I stand in this process? And so this moment in spring 2020 is like the opening pitch, right? It's that first pitch. We're in the first quarter. And it's all on the table. Nobody knows what the outcome is going to be. We know the game is baseball, but we don't know who's going to win. And the beauty of sport is even in a rigged game or a rigged field, things can still surprise you. There's always the wild card. There's always the element of surprise. That was really important, what I just said. There's always the wild card. There's always the element of surprise. And so right now we're picking sides, right? Which team do we want to be on? Do we want to be on, I don't want to use political terms, red or blue, but we're basically picking which side we want to be on. And then we're having to answer the question for ourselves, where do we want to be in the game itself? Are we saying, I don't want to deal with it, I'm going to just head to the hills? Sorry, I think the camera's moving. Are we home watching it on TV, either fretting, betting, or just enjoying what's happening to other people? Are we in the stands? Are we on the field? Where are we in this game? Because that's really what's happening. And one of the things that I think it's hard to make that mental shift is, and you've heard me talk about this a lot, we've become such an observational people. Western humans like to observe. We don't like to participate. And this is happening and we are participating. That's the big shift. I think we're seeing that metaphor right now where real sports isn't happening and people are being forced back into their actual lives. And some people are having a very positive experience. I was just hearing a dad talk about how they've homeschooled and how their neighbors are connecting and their kids are engaging, and it's been a really positive experience. And there's other people who are making money off the backs of everybody who are losing things. So there's a lot of ways to play this game, and it's not about the game. Life is about how you are playing the game. And right now, this is the first pitch of the World Series. This is the end game, right? This is the first pitch in 4 quarters. We'll just divide it into that. That the end will be this Earth catastrophe moment. And so we get to decide how and where we want to play. And so I was thinking about personally where I stand, and what I wanted to do is I have a softball because I used to play softball, and a glove. I cannot find it. I don't remember throwing it out. And I just spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to find it, so I just made those imagery without the ball and the glove. But that's sort of how I feel. It's like I understand the game. I know how the game is played. I want to be on the side coaching people playing, because my role on the field isn't actually playing. I see my role as helping you play better, because everybody's part of this game. And I've been training and preparing and learning this game for over 40 years. But the bottom line is you can't stop the game. You can't make yourself not be part of the game, and you can't control the outcome, because the outcome isn't in our individual hands. We only get to decide how we want to play and where we want to stand. And so all the energy that we put into fighting against the fact that the game is happening is wasted energy, because this is happening. And that's really hard for so many people, because they've been in the stands or at home for most of their life. We've lived in a very entertainment, observational bubble where the least amount of survival was not required of us, right? We didn't have to figure out how to grow food. We didn't have to figure out how to get along. We just sort of were swept away in the waves. And now everybody's having to wake up to the fact that the game is on. And the decision is where you want to be. Do you want to be running away from the game? Do you want to be at home watching the game? Do you want to be in the stands? Do you want to be on the field? What position on the field do you want to play? There's so many ways we can break this analogy out. But the most important thing I wanted to share is the game is on. It's never going to be over for our lifetime, our future. Especially those of us who are older, we're not going to be on the other side of this. We're playing the game until the game is over for us, not until the game itself is over. And the more you can make peace with that, the more I think you can focus on how you want to participate it in the game, and sort of move ourselves out of that frozen shock place of what happened and when did it start. And even intellectually observing the game for so long, watching other people play, which is what social media is, right? We watch other people play the game. It's this awakening that, oh my gosh, now I'm doing it and I don't know what to do. Or maybe you do know what to do, but you can never not get better. There's no point in time where you can't get better at playing the game. And number one, being the wild card. So I thought that was a good way for me to understand it and explain it to myself, that this is the first pitch. Even if things go back to normal, it's just like a break between innings. It's not over. It won't be over until the last inning, even if there's overtime. And that's up to the sun. It's not up to us. It's up to the earth and the solar system and that which created us. It's not up to us. We don't get to decide when the game ends. We only get to decide how we want to play and where we want to be in that process. And with that, I hope that helped a little bit. It helps me kind of sort things out a bit. So I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to take a big old deep breath, and I will see you next time.